it's not really evil panda, it's just me. I've got to talk to you at great length. Don't worry about it, I'll make it really interesting, because I know someone's going to have to watch this. And I'm starting with a panda head on me. Right, this could get a little bit surreal, I'm not going to lie to you. So, my name is Christopher Reed. I did a foundation year at a place called Access to Music in Manchester on Oxford Road. The whole thing was focused around brand development and artist development and becoming a practitioner in that state. So that means music theory, how you go about tailoring yourself, logos, branding, disassembling yourself and then rebuilding yourself in a way that's good, also testing products and bringing products to market and stuff like that. When I hit FutureWorks, I had a different point of view to most of the people that were at FutureWorks at the time, because they're more understanding of signal flow, whereas I'm more understanding of how to write a panda character, turn him a little bit evil, and chase you through 6 individual episodes that we'll call the Rebels of Fortune. The Rebels of Fortune. I suppose this is kind of a good idea to show you a couple of clips of the early days.
You go this way, and you go that way. Hastings, you bitch, I'm coming for ya! Can't protect you. He's the ultimate vlogger. We can't do anything. Shoot, Hastings! I'll find you! I loved you like a son. Like a son. I loved you like a son. Rebels of Fortune, I will never subscribe to your bullshit channel.
Vlog this.
Dude, you just farted. You can't just fart.
Fuck you! Dodge this!
Right, you've got to stay there.
Today your ass belongs to me. I won't pretend that I care. I'm not your mentor. I'll give you the orders and you follow them. Understood?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Don't call me sir. My name is Jackoff. Agent Jackoff.
So what is the Rebels of Fortune? Will fortune favour the brave as recently deceased Duke Hastings team up with the colour purple and her guru to save our world from sociopathic wizards and nippy zombies in this surreal sci-fi comedy series? When did it all start? It started in media class, which was on a Friday morning, and there was about 5 or 6 of us, and we were just running around doing just stupid things with a camera because we had a camera and we had free time, and we just thought, let's have a laugh, you know what I mean? I found myself really enjoying blogging. You can create a lot of memories in a very short amount of time. The good things that you have really do shine through. And in the process, I found out that I was a wonderful writer and an exceptional musician and wonderful for this particular project. I think we were in Llandudno. There's a storyline that connects with Alice in Wonderland. On a particularly misty day, I walked around and I was awe-inspired by the place. There's a certain light that hits Llandudno that doesn't hit. I've not seen it anywhere else actually. It's laced with inspiration all the way around it. From the point of view where you look at something and it can be one thing, and look at something it can be something different. It casts its light differently, and you can tell that there's a film set there. There's more than what it happens to be. Where it started to bubble under the surface, it was like, right, okay, there's a book in me here, I have to get it out. At the time of writing, I was working for a children's home company, and one of the homes is situated pretty close to a graveyard. If I was doing a waking night, I had to stay awake from 11 o'clock at night until 10 o'clock the next morning, something like that. And it proved exceptional for writing. And I remember being like 3 days in a row, and by the 3rd day you'd just be just like white as a ghost and drained, but you'd have like 3 scenes in some sort of draft.
The history of TRoF.
One of the things I will say about the cast is everybody's musicians, or the majority of the show, and people are musicians, so they understand timing just that slightly bit more than you would do with an actor. Working with actors, I tended to find people go, and then this, to add dramatic effect, whereas musicians didn't kind of do that. But if you asked them to do it in a slightly different way, they would bring it all in ways that you can only really get from musicians, if that makes sense. And that's, I don't know what it is. I think it might be something to do with the personality of the individual cast and the people, because there's just more in them. That's the only way that I can say that. There's just, you can pick it up and just go, oh yeah, here we go. Ooh! And nobody else can really do that. If you put it in that microphone in front of somebody that's never done anything like this or remotely like this, they'll just be like, what the? But if you put it in front of somebody that's able to scream at the top of the lungs and been through the hurt and the pain of having to understand how to get to that, nothing shocks them. It's like the kids in the kids zone. They don't care. I mean, you can put anything in front of them and they'll be like, I know a bad day out, mate. You won't see nothing. Inspirations. Truth be told, I watched the entirety of Sunny in Philadelphia from the start to the end about 3 times over while writing the first series, and I laughed my arse off. The other one was The Mighty Boosh. I remember listening to The Mighty Boosh when it first came out on the radio, like right back in the day. I'm very old. I remember thinking, that's cool, that's new. But The Mighty Boosh was just a little bit more because it had that art. And Noel Fielding is a bit of a genius. I did a lot of research through a lady called Jenna Moresi on YouTube. She was really, really, really good. And she kind of talked about writing in a slightly different way. If you got a bad dude, make him do this and this and this and this and this. And then be like, eh, you know what I mean? One of the issues that I had with the Save the Cat book was this is what studios like Universal and people are expecting. They want this and that to happen by that page, and that takes the creativity out of it. Whereas when I wrote the first series and the second series, to be fair, I'd get to the end of the sentence and I'd be like, I've got no idea where this is going. How did you approach the project? To write 30,000 words, you're looking at a year. You just are. To go and record one individual member, if they're a small part, you're looking at like 3 or 4 hours. If you've got a big part, then you're looking at like 3 or 4 sessions in the studio. So I think I used FutureWorks Studio like religiously every available space for about a year and a half or something ridiculous like that. At which point, when I had everybody's lines lined up, I had to then stitch them together into individual scenes, which took like, let's say, 4 months. And at which point I put the basic sound effects with, and then I was like, this doesn't sparkle. And I was like, God damn it. At which point I was writing a soundtrack as well, and I took snippets of the soundtrack and put them as the incidental music. And the idea behind it was the Rebels of Fortune are a band, so if you ever wanted to go and see the Rebels of Fortune, you'd recognise the music from the incidental music, which is great. And I recorded everybody's lines. Apart from Buster, I'd got like 2 hours left with him. maybe an hour and a half. And then the coronavirus hit, and it was like, you're in lockdown now, and we're like, okay, that's fine. So I got to do, I'm really sorry for, it's just, I mean, it's a terrible situation. Bollocks to the degree, I just hope everybody else out there is alright. But I got to stitch 3 episodes together in full and polish them off, and they're polished off, and I've submitted them with this major project, and they sound brilliant. They sound professional level. I recorded them on Logic. I used an NT1, not an NT1A condenser microphone by Rode. Brilliant, quietest microphone going. I learned some mistakes, like pop shields, really important. Make sure you remember exactly the volume that you used on your sound card, because when you get to post, it's like some things are massive, some things are not. Make sure there's a good distance, and lots of things that I would go back and punch myself in the back of the head and say, do it like that, muppet. I went and bought a skateboard for a £5 off a 12-year-old, and all the cast I got to sign the skateboard, which was brilliant. So there's a blog for every single one of these particular signatures as well. I just did it on my phone. I didn't do any major technology or anything like that. I did it on my phone mostly because you could chuck your phone around, and there's an element of disrespect that goes along with the Rebels of Fortune, which is really nice. It's like, we could have a really expensive camera and set the studio up and have people in the background and it like, way, and all that sort of tackle, like canned laughter. In the same breath, it's just some mates having a laugh in a studio, and that's the core of what studios are really all about, aren't they, in a way? You get, here's 10 minutes worth of having a laugh and taking the piss and having a giggle, and that comes across. One of the nice things about the show is, because of the cast that have been on it, it could warrant having its own Wikipedia page at some point. I don't know where it's going to go. I hope it goes really, really far. What were your initial aims and objectives? Just to get it finished. I mean, it was just... I remember starting it having a laugh, and then as I was going more and more into the forest, I was going, bloody hell, there's so much work to be done here. I mean, you've got to remember, the Rebels of Fortune is effectively 5 20-minute episodes plus a 1-minute 45 plus soundtrack plus sound effects and incidental music and a brand. It's, if you took that to a production company, they'd be like, right, well, we're going to charge you around about £500,000 for this. Is that all right? And I've just done it while bringing up my baby and, you know, trying to be a good husband and aiming for a first, just to show that I have the ability to go and progress as a human being, and also get to entertain people. I mean, what's better than sharing a laugh? You know what I mean? I don't think I had a plan. In fact, I didn't have a plan whatsoever. I didn't. I just, little by little, I went, right, okay, we'll do that, and we'll do that, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do that, and over time it started to come together, and now it's like, it's a full-grown thing. I got to write a book. I got to write 2 books and do a load of shows and work with some really cool people, and you never know where it's going to go. It might get to TV, it might not get to TV, it might be a self-funded YouTube thing, it might just be a YouTube thing that we did with my mates. What were the key stages and working processes that shaped the outcome of your overall work? Script. Script, 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 script. Write it until you find it funny. That was really, really important. Really, really important. Don't want to talk about narcotics or anything like that, but I'll put a link in the bottom for microdosing. Helped creativity-wise, but it also helped with the pain of, here we go, now you're going to go and have to sit here for 6 hours and write the same 15 lines over and over and over again to get them perfect. Having really good friends around you that was perfect for the cast, that was really important, because if we didn't have the right cast, it wouldn't have worked at all. Logic, good microphone, Isotope, that was a bit of a godsend. Oh, I tell you what was a godsend. Rob Monaghan emailed me a link to Soundly. 73 days to use the sound effects on Soundly, and that was brilliant, because the professional version, which is like $15 or something like that, was brilliant to just finish the show off. Identify the essence of your production work, i.e. what makes your creative approach. If it can make me laugh, then I'm like, okay, that's funny. Because I don't laugh at anything. I can't remember the last time I watched television and went, ha ha ha. Everything's exactly the same. So it was quite enjoyable to find laughs in the Rebels of Fortune. And every so often I'd get to a paragraph, I'd be writing a paragraph and I'd be absolutely pissing myself while I was writing. I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be so funny to do. And even now, there's like, I've got a thought in the back of my head, like there's a beach in Talacar where we go in Wales, and I'd love to see a tank kind of just out of a portal and land like, with purple on it going, Caw! You know, that would be really funny. Maybe something for the third or fourth one. But it's it gives me the tingles on my skin. And I've had that thought in my head for months now, and I'd love to put it down somewhere in the right place. It would be so good. It would just be... It kind of made it into the second one because she chases me down the street on a dragon, firing fireballs at me. Which is brilliant. I mean... Anyway, that little snippet that you just saw there on camera, that's the essence of this show. You've got to find things that really make you, really make you laugh. Yeah, so I'd say my creative process is, I suppose the essence of a joke, which is what Jimmy Carr said, is that you get to the end of the sentence and there's something there that you weren't necessarily expecting. It's that. If you can write a sentence and you're like, we get to the end of it and you're like, what? But it makes some sort of linguistic sense and the character can follow it, then yeah, that's it. That's the creative process. The rest of it's just like, right, get a microphone in front of them, shove an iPhone in front of them, record it just for the good stuff. But that is the key. You cut open a birthday cake, but there's a balloon inside it, so the birthday cake explodes. It's like, no, why would that happen? No one was expecting that bit. Put that on paper. Put a lot of that on paper, you'll be fine. Identify the essence of your production. Listen to like 100 sound effects and train your ear to find the sound effect that's like, that's the one. Because it needs to take a view of, I am a sound effect. I'm exactly the same as all the other sound effects that are on the radio or the television or whatever, because it doesn't need to sound out of place, but it has to be more than that. It's like a tandem. It's like, that's your sound effect on the front, but make sure you got something to back it up that's like, that's not really meant to be the sound effect, is it? And I'll show you a couple of scenes here. The bit where Purple smashes the car radio up to take the wires out of it and turn ABBA, the potato, into artificial intelligence. Wonderful.
But look how adorable it is.
What are you doing, Purple? This is my nan's car.
If I hack some wave receptors and a Bluetooth connector from the car radio, I should be able to... Abracadabra! I give you artificial intelligence.
Intelligence activating.
That's incredible.
My nan is gonna kill me. How is she gonna listen to her ABBA CDs now?
ABBA. Name accepted. ABBA.
ABBA. That's so cute.
The bit where Duke sneezes on the prom. Listen to the plastic specifically in the background, because it makes it sound like the universe is completely broken.
It's like you're not even trying to be dead at all. Have you tried committing to the cause?
What can I do differently?
Well, have you tried method acting? Shut your eyes, take a deep breath, stay really still.
Do you think it'll help?
To be honest, I'd say at this stage, most things are worth a punt.
All right, here goes. Is it working?
Exhilarating. Come here, little.
If you can, and I'll say this calmly because I don't want to alarm you, but keep your eyes open just as much as possible. It might also be best for no sudden movements.
Duke, wibble wobble.
Please stop that, Purple. For some reason, when the universe thinks Duke's dead, it also assumes that so is everyone else in the universe. It shits its pants, presumes it's lost everyone, panics, stalls, reboots and reactivates in its built-in apocalyptic procedure.
And my favourite, I think my favourite one of all, apart from Purple's fart here,
12, 11, 10, 9, 8.
Sorry.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
is the bit where Granny Demdike goes into the underworld. There's just that, ooh! It's like, that's scary, that is scary.
1, 2, 3.
Granny Demdike! Granny Demdike! Granny Demdike!
Who dares wake an old witch from her eternal slumber?
Oh my days, what is that stench?
I can't smell anything.
It's the undead.
I'd love to record all of this with just my mates, because these guys are just, they know the script. Someone give us 80 grand and we'll go and do it tomorrow. It could just be the next big thing ever. Every particular scene has been specifically wrote for a place. Like the Juju Man's house is Port Meriam in Wales, or the Midland Hotel, which is a hotel in Morecambe, it's like all Art Deco, is the Afterlife Hotel. I found that quite important to do because it's easier to write through the eyes of somebody else, but it's even easier to write when they're in a particular situation. It's like, right, okay, and then it's just a case of, right, you got characters that are floating about, let's kill some of them and, you know, make the other ones fart or whatever, or, you know, throw up, which they do a lot. And I think one of the USPs to it is it's got that human element to it. You have to have that bit where Gary dies in the show.
Listen, I'm in a bad way. Did I ever tell you why I became a guru?
Shh, Gary, help is on its way.
It was for you, you prick. I did it for you and your dad. As a boy, he saved my life. When he died, I had to step up and bring you guys up. I couldn't let you go into care. There were some difficult days. Really difficult days.
Oh God, Gary, you're bleeding out. Please get some help over here, now!
He always knew that you would be a guru. He asked me to join the force to look after you.
Gary!
He always said you were destined for greatness. He said it was your destiny.
Shut up, Gary, he was crazy. It's not how I roll, it's not who I am. I'm just not ready.
He always said you would be something special. Written in the stars, he said it was. Prophecy. Oh, it hurts. No one's born ready. Here, take my badge.
No! Gary! No!
Nobody else other than a musician can say that like that. Like, Gary, you got me there, bro. And you need that human element. You have to have that human element. Because if you don't have that human element, then why should you bother? Yeah, it's funny. Haha, great, move on. People are fickle, man. They just want to get onto the things that are going to give that immediate dopamine release. Unless you've got that, it's wacky, yeah, it's funny, yeah. But there's that human element, that's really, really important. How does your work compare to other professional practitioners? Identify them and their work. They try and break into the Juju Man's house, and there's some hungry, horny sex pandas. Listen.
Oh no.
What now?
The car's out of petrol.
Oh yeah. That's it. Oh.
Honey, wait a minute, what's that over there?
I have to say, mate, I'm not feeling the fear right now. I mean, the pandas seem lovely.
Thank you, you're very kind.
We're swingers, don't you know?
I don't know anybody that's got that in their shows. I mean, it's only in Philadelphia, it's funny. Might be. It's psychedelic. This has got sex pandas. How can I compare myself to anybody else? What is it? It's got sex pandas, man. Love it. Discuss the effectiveness of your approach and how this affected your progress and outcome. I could have got to the finish line much quicker if I had budget in a car. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's just the way it is. But at the same breath, it needed to take the time that it took to teach me a lot of lessons along the way. It was really important to understand all the techniques that I've got from recording the first series and writing the second series and just interacting with it as a whole. If you worked for a podcast company and you were creating podcasts, you would be against the clock, there'd be financial issues, and this was very light-hearted. This was, here's a couple of years, write a book, enjoy yourself for a bit. I had a crap time before this, now I can walk around. And it's a very Spike Milligan approach. He was very, very depressed, but he wrote some wonderful jobs, and I think you need to root note from there. It's a lot easier to go from a minor to a major because that's his organic path. It's done with a level of respect. It's a bit like working on a classic car. There's no like, that'll do, because there's not. It's you sit up until 3 o'clock in the morning because then that is when it'll do. Do it really, really, really well. Try and do it really well from the start. Never do more things than you need to. Always just really finitely, passionately get involved in the minute. Like, if you're not involved in the minute, doesn't matter, you're not involved. Interact with it. If you were paid 80 grand as an executive, you wouldn't bother going to buy a skateboard off a 12-year-old to get it painted up. But that particular week, I only had a £5. That was all I had to my name. but I still made sure that I took it around every single person that's on the show and got them to sign it, mostly because this will outlive us. Don't do it by halves. Commit. Get on with it. Get off your ass. Go and write a book about unicorns. But there's no air in the room. Having a game of charades. Professional advice. That is the approach that I took, and it's the approach that worked. You know, really did. What research, training, or online tutorials did you conduct to inform your professional development and the development of your work? I did Generosity courses. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on bits of sound here and bits of sound there just while I'm working, doing my dissertation. I found out about isotope. Isotope really helped. But mostly, I would say, I just got on with it. I remember getting my student loan, and the first thing that I did is I went and bought the Composer's Handbook because it's recommended by Future Works, thinking I'd sit there and read it. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't even read it. I just got on with it. And every time I got stuck, or every time I thought, oh, bloody hell, how can I make that better? Or how can I put a cherry on that particular junction there? I went and figured it out, or found out about it. I never took no for an answer, because there was no no's. There is no avenues. It's swimming in open water, and that's kind of what worked. The videos from Generosity and watching Sunny in Philadelphia, and the research that I did on actors and actresses that's a part of my big bibliography and my dissertation, it did work, but the best way to progress it was to put words inside the character's mouth from the point of view of me writing, because that is what it was. Sometimes things are just in the blood. Did I learn something new or try a new approach / technique? I tried every approach and every technique available, like all of it. But the key was small steps all the time, never putting it down. Continue to work your quill all the time, 24/7. If you get an idea at 3 o'clock in the morning and you go, oh, that's a good idea, write it down, because by God, it's gone at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you'll be like, oh, what was the idea? With the incidental music, that was an interesting one, because I had to try and compile the music in 3 or 4 different ways. I tried to do it with acoustic guitars, acoustic this, acoustic that, and what I found best was just to freehand it and go and play with a bass player and record some lead guitars over the top of it, and it sounds good. From working the door, yeah, I did a lot of things in there. I put the whole of the first 6 episodes together, and I got to the end of it and I was like, that sounds okay. It didn't sparkle. Now it's got more about it. Now it stands up by itself. You could probably get away with putting it to like an animation and it would be okay in the world. I think the big one was EQing. I didn't have any idea how to really do that or master. And to be fair, I might have still done it wrong. I've got no one to turn around and say, you've done a good job there. All I can say is working off good speakers, with good microphones, getting it good in the can, and it kind of does it itself. There was a new approaches over time. That's probably the best way to say it. As my skills developed, after Future Works. So today was a big day. I emailed the BBC. I found that the chap who accepts the podcasts, and I wrote him an email and said, hello, I'm a student, I'm a little bit cheeky, it's the first 3 episodes. What do you think? Hopefully he'll come back to me. If he doesn't, then I will put the show out to a couple of different production companies, and hopefully someone will pick it up and go, that's the best thing since sliced bread, and run with it. If not, then it will just end up online. I'll continue to do it. I don't want to put this down yet. I don't necessarily think I ever could. I really like the idea of living in Wales and just doing this, really. So just hiding out, just being a bit wacky and writing stuff, it's quite an enjoyable existence. I think self-funding would be a good thing if we had a lot of people. Like if there was 3 million subscribers to this, if we said, look, we're gonna create a pilot, we need 20 grand, then we've got a lot more of a chance of getting 20 grand. That would be exceptional, especially if we could write and record and put out our own episodes and our own content. That would be something that would be just tremendous. It goes along with the name, the Rebels of Fortune. If it doesn't work out like that, then that's fine as well. We'll figure something else. I am desperately trying to find some sort of way to make an income from it. I don't necessarily want to go and put advertisements on the front things, because I don't agree with like lots of things that are advertised on YouTube. But I do have to try and find an audience for it. And I think there is a big one out there if it lands well with the right people. How I take that journey, I don't know, but I will adopt the approaches that I've learned through this, which is just knock on doors, keep going, be resilient, don't be over pushy, be friendly, be nice. People do things for free if they can see a value in it and if they enjoy it and it's a bit of a laugh, you know. I think through the entirety of the first series I may have paid for like a parking ticket for somebody and a cup of coffee, and maybe gave someone a tenner or something like that. Don't get me wrong, if I had millions of pounds I'd be like, here's lots of money, because I'm that sort of person, but that is all the budget. So recently I've applied for a master's in creative writing at MMU, and also if we got to London though, there's a university called Bang around the corner, and it would be quite nice to go and do a doctorate in film studies. Then I've got like the brand and the music and the writing and the film, and that's full sticker book. And the amount of content that I'm going to create from that should be unbearable. That was the word that came to mind. Unbearable. Can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. I have already started to use and implement the knowledge that I've got from future works into the second series, and I think the second series is going to be even bigger, even better, even funnier, badass, proper badass. And I really hope it finds its audience and people really enjoy it. So there you go. This has been my presentation for my major project. Thank you very, very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed that, and speak to you again soon.